and that kind of takes us to where I think a lot of people watching this will now be thinking, okay, this is an easy one because we get it, but how do we apply it to everything we're doing? Data-driven. How many times have we heard data-driven decision-making in the last decade? If I had £1 for every time I wrote it, I'd be wealthier. But how do we apply this within this scenario?
This is something that I think needs to continually evolve and improve, because the better data that you are able to have, the better decisions you're going to make. And so I feel like one of the more long-term, I took this role as leader of this organization around the year 2000. And what I saw at that time was that there was a lot of crisis-driven decision-making and firefighting kind of popping things up. And the decisions at multiple levels of the organization weren't being driven by data. And so I've really taken this journey to get people to a point where, I use as an analogy the human body, right? You need, you might feel some pain somewhere. If I feel pain on my knee, okay, then that pain should get my attention. Okay, but then I need to start doing some kind of analysis as to what might be causing the knee pain, and that's where the data is coming in. And so I think you need to find that balance, and it's easier said than done. I can say, we talk about it, and we were talking about it back in 2000 when I joined. But in order to really get people to stop and say, okay, here's the pain point. Let me sort of characterize this thing, and let me look at the data and see what's the way out of this thing. And getting that as a culture change across the whole organization takes a long time. And to gain alignment on how to do that is important. But also just collecting the data is a challenge sometimes. For us, before we were acquired, which I mentioned earlier, we had done an acquisition of a company. And although that company was about 60% of the size of Coherent, turns out that the field workforce there was 150% of mine. And instead of having a global organization, they had global presence, but each of their entities had rolled up to a local general manager. So, I had 25 different cultures to think about and to worry about, and to try to develop and evolve. And all of them were on different systems. So, getting the data and, not sitting down and having an argument about what's the source of the data, the validity of your data versus my data, getting one source of truth and then getting people to use it, that takes that's a commitment. And it takes a long time.
It's also, though, the purest route to overcoming the problem. Again, I love the analogy of the human body there. Because it could be that my knee is sore, but actually it could completely be that my right knee is sore because I've got a fractured pelvis on the left hand side, and so I'm mischaracterizing the weight distribution or something like that. Or just a slightly misaligned part of my spine. Whatever it is, my gait is out of kilter. I've never really noticed that. And then that's what we always have to do is try and find the root and solve the root problem, not the branch problem. And we are always fighting against solving the symptom rather than the actual cause. And data for me is absolutely, that's how we get to that nitty gritty. And having worked with a number of companies that have been in a similar situation, multiple data sets across multiple regions, multiple vendors and systems in place, that is absolutely, if that's the environment that anyone watching this finds themselves in, I back Ron's statement 100%. It's hard, but it's vital.
Indeed.
You try and find that one truth.
And, one last point I should make is, sometimes I've seen service managers who their team, because they've got a strong player and he's got some kind of axe to grind about an issue or something like that, it then can force that manager to start paying, in a strong attention to an area that's of interest actually for one person in one area of their, of their life and their career, right? So it's a matter of, okay, how do I take this and, bring it back to the data so I know what I'm trying to resolve. And if I can't resolve that guy's issue because it's something that the what he's bringing up the data doesn't support, at least I have a point of discussion with that person at that point, right?
it allows conversation to be fact-based and evidence-based, and that just automatically takes out a lot of the sting of any confrontation that can be in either direction.
Indeed.
Okay, hopefully you found that really useful as a service leader. That's what our purpose here is to try and help you as a service leader be the best that you can. That's why we've got a library of over 600 hours worth of content. That's why I'm always speaking to some of the best people, the smartest people in the industry. Now, the great news is you can access all of that content. We normally just charge £45 a month or £450 a year, but we're so confident in the value that we provide, we actually offer a trial for anyone that's new to field service news, and that is just £9. So if you're in the States, it's roughly $11, $12 at the moment. That's what, a couple of cups of coffee. That will give you 1 month of full access. All 600 hours of content, white papers, research, great conversations like these. Plus it gives you access to the Field Service News Service Leaders courses, which is over 70 courses designed to help you as a service leader. Now, if you want to take advantage of this, do so quickly, because we only do these offers every now and then, because we can only accept a certain volume of members before we have to kind of make sure everyone's onboarded correctly. So the button down below will say unlock with FSN PRO. Okay, that's the button you click. You'll see a code just beneath that. Click that, take that code with you. The page will open into a new page, and you just pop that code just below, at the bottom, just below the payment section. That'll reduce your price down to £9. You can cancel at any time. So if it's not right for you, and I'll be honest, it usually is, and most people do continue on to have the full membership. But if it's not right for you, that's fine. You can cancel, and you've still got that access. You can still download everything theoretically, but most people find that because we're adding new content every month, it's a hugely valuable service. So take a look below, take advantage of this opportunity right now, and be the best service leader you can. Okay, take care.